Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Anderson, and I'm with the American Society of International Law. And it's my great privilege today to host this gathering of the world's leading prosecutors of international justice for the issuance of the second Chautauqua Declaration. This is the official statement of this gathering of eminent prosecutors of this historic meeting. It follows on last year's first Chautauqua Declaration. And you will note one significant, maybe several significant differences, but one that jumps out at me in this declaration as compared to last year's declaration. And it contains, as did last year's declaration, a list of fugitives from justice, indictees for war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, who remain at large. And there's one individual who was listed in last year's declaration who is not in this year's declaration, and that's Radovan Karadzic. And I hope this is a signal to the tyrants that time is not on their side, and that with the steadfast work of this assembled group of prosecutors, justice marches on. And each year as we gather at Chautauqua, that list of fugitives will be declining. Let me read the declaration. The assembled international prosecutors, both past and present, celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Genocide Convention of 1948, saluting the efforts of many who fought for its passage and implementation, understanding that it is a cornerstone to modern international criminal law, reflecting on the life of Raphael Lemkin, who championed the recognition by the international community that genocide is the crime of crimes, noting the importance of the first Chautauqua Declaration, signed in August of 2007, and its call for all states to honor their responsibility to fulfill the promise of the law they created, to enforce judicial decisions, to ensure the arrest and surrender of sought individuals, appreciating the efforts of the international community to bring peace through justice, understanding that enforcement of actions by the existing tribunals and courts can be a political question, but still noting that it is the law to hold those who commit international crimes accountable. Applauding the advancements of international criminal law to end impunity around the world since Nuremberg. Also appreciating that international criminal law has only begun to shape and mold the conduct of states, noting that the non-permanent courts and tribunals will soon complete their mandates, and recognizing their historic contribution to the development of international criminal law and to peace and justice in their regions. Additionally, noting that the non-permanent courts and tribunals need effective residual mechanisms and must leave an enduring legacy to the communities which they serve. Continuing to seek methods, procedures, and tools to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the various tribunals and courts. Recognizing that only through truth and justice can a true peace be sustained. Now do solemnly declare to the world that states must conform their conduct to the law, to settle disputes peaceably, to refrain from aggressive acts, to honor the sanctity of the person, and to allow the peoples of the world to live free from want, fear, and to worship and express themselves without repression. That states honor their legal commitments to uphold the directions and orders of the justice mechanisms they have created, and once again, call upon all states to arrest and surrender to the appropriate court, tribunal, or chamber Ratko Mladic, Felician Kabuga, Joseph Kony, Ahmed Haroun, Ali Kouchial, and all others not listed here and who are sought by international justice. That all states are responsible for the care and protection of their own citizenry, and that failure to uphold that responsibility is not in accord with the spirit of the United Nations Charter. Applaud and recognize the constructive role regional organizations can play in maintaining the rule of law and in supporting existing tribunals and courts. Call upon the international community to provide continuing support to the non-permanent courts and tribunals to allow the successful completion of their mandates, including arrangements for the full discharge of their residual functions. That the nations of the world consider the words of our colleague Whitney R. Harris. Quote, "We have not to fear save ourselves, only ourselves. The tyrant must be forced to end his tyranny. The aggressor must be punished for his aggressions, and law, not force, must rule the world. Man's destiny lies in the hands of man." Signed in mutual witness, Serge Brammertz, International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, David M. Crane, Special Court for Sierra Leone, Henry King, International Military Tribunal of Nuremberg, Fatou Bensouda, International Criminal Court, Ben Ferenz, International Military Tribunal, Nuremberg, Robert Petit, Extraordinary Chambers in the Courts of Cambodia, Whitney Harris, International Military Tribunal, Nuremberg, Stephen J. Rapp, Special Court for Sierra Leone, and Hassan B. Jallo, International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. I will now pass the declaration from left to right and ask each of the prosecutors to affix their signature. Serge Brammertz, who had to leave early, has already signed it. And on completion of the signatures, I'll ask any of the prosecutors who'd like to make an additional comment regarding the declaration to do so. That ends the signing of the declaration.